Okay, welcome to a new interview in the Energy Bridge. Today we have the pleasure to have Sherin Gharib, our classmates in the Master in Renewable Energy at TU-MENA. And today we're going to explore the intersection of a political scientist with now technical background. It's so many things to talk about in energy, especially now with the situation in Middle East, in Central Europe. We're very happy to have you here, and we have too many questions today.
Thank you very much, Sherin. How are you doing?
Thank you so much, Rahul. Daniel, I'm fine. I'm really pleased to be part of your podcast today. Thank you so much for having me here today. And I'm looking forward to hearing more from your questions.
A brief summary of what you have.
That's a big summary.
But just to mention that you have worked for Austrian Ministry of Defense, for Austrian Institute of International Affairs, former head of Austrian Network for Anna Lindh Foundation, among many others, related with the EU-MENA region, part of University of Vienna, also making classes. So it's
and you only have 3 masters, so
So maybe we could start for your professional journey and educational journey. What was your motivation to study political science, and how did you get in energy?
Sure. Well, actually, I've always been a deeply political person. So I was really interested in knowing more about political developments and international relations and geopolitical shifts. So from the very beginning, it was really clear to me that I want to study political science. And since I was really interested in knowing more about political developments in the Middle East and North Africa region, I also started to study Middle Eastern studies. So this is the combination, and of course energy security is a really important and really crucial role when talking about global politics. So I actually was interested to know more about all these geopolitical shifts, and in recent years the agenda has shifted more towards climate action, climate protection, and integration of renewables into the system. And that really inspired me to know more about the technical issues and the technical and the economic dimension of renewables. And then I started with my postgraduate studies at the Technical University, because I believe that it's really important to have this bigger picture. It's not really enough to just focus on the technical dimension, but it's also about, the whole geopolitical picture.
And what was the first news or data that you saw? This is important topic, because energy, it's transversal sector, but it's highly geopolitical involved. So what did you see there? Was it gas, oil, or something in particular, or?
I mean, it was all of that. It was, of course, gas, oil, especially when you think about the MENA region. I mean, oil, gas plays a really important role. And for me, it's about energy security. And we have a lot of questions around that. Now, the energy and climate policy of the EU is very much shaped by these geopolitical shifts and developments we see, especially after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. There are a lot of questions around energy security, and I think this is really important to bear in mind also when talking about industrial decarbonization.
Yeah, we're going to go.
And before we get into it, I just have a question. It's a curiosity question that I have. What people do at Ministry of Defense? I mean, when you I mean, I can understand when you have a war going on, but apart from that, what is going on there?
Well, it's about analyzing and monitoring of political developments, and then also in knowing if there are any kind of risks. So it's about also risk assessment. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's also about writing reports, and all that.
Watching news.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
What did you imagine?
I don't know. I watch a lot of Netflix, so
Yeah. Okay.
people with their fancy, I don't know, goggles or something, people doing so many stuff. So I was like, maybe you have something interesting anecdote to share as well.
What if defense is
Everything is under the wrap.
How do you think that this mix of engineering and knowledge in Middle East, especially, have influenced your work now in AustroPapier? Because we didn't mention, but now you are part of AustroPapier here in Austria as a big intensity industry. So how do you think that this knowledge have influenced your action in AustroPapier?
And also a bit about AustroPapier.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe to start AustroPapier and then the influence of your knowledge.
Yeah, sure. AustroPapier has 23 members. They're the big names like Heinzel, Lenzing, Mondi. They're all part of AustroPapier, which is the Association of the Austrian Paper Industry. I am responsible for the energy and climate policy. So all aspects, but also technical issues and decarbonization strategies, all that. And how my studies have shaped my work. Now answering that question, I think, as I've already mentioned, it's about, I believe it's about, the broader picture, and to have also knowledge about the geopolitics, because these shifts we are currently witnessing really affect also the Austrian energy and climate policy. So I think this combination is really important to have. And then of course the technical aspect, it's really important, because if you don't have that background, it makes it really difficult to understand things around the emission trade system and all the different laws issued by the EU, but there are also a very big law, for example, on a national level. So I think it's this mixture is really really important to have. Yeah.
What have surprised you more in EU policy in terms of industry decarbonization? Because you are analyzing policy, so what have surprised you more?
So the needs and the challenges of the industry sector, they were not that new to me, because a couple of years ago I was working for the Austrian Ministry of Foreign Affairs at the Department of Trade Relations, and I was involved in all the issues on targeting the needs and the challenges of the industry. I had also contact, of course, with the industry representatives, also with the Chamber of Commerce, and all that. So I knew some issues, but I was not really aware that we have such a big paper industry in Austria. And I mean, of course, I knew like some companies, but I was not aware that we have this big industry, and I was not aware that the paper industry has some efforts in decarbonization, and that was really new to me, and I think that's something I really see as really positive. So, for example, there is a net zero roadmap. So the Austrian paper industry wants to become net zero, but by 2050, which is in line with the European goal. This roadmap draws on how it wants to achieve, how the industry wants to achieve this goal, and I think that's really interesting. So this is actually what also fascinates me. It's really good.
Just thinking out loud, that why paper industry is so big in Austria? Maybe because you like paperwork. Because we are making a lot of things now, and everything is in paper. So
yeah, exactly. No, it's because Yeah, but just to tell you the background, it's because of the forest. It's because also in the countries where you have forest, there the paper industry.
Is Austria the third largest paper producer in EU?
Oh, I don't know if it's the third largest, but it's one of the of the larger ones. Yeah. So we have also Sweden, Finland, Germany, but Austria is definitely really strong. Yeah. And many of these companies are Austrian companies, having sites also in other countries. Yeah.
What is the energy mix scenario for the paper industry in Austria? What kind of energy that they're using?
It's biomass. It's a really high share is biomass. Around 70% is biomass. So there is already very high share of renewables, which is really good. And when talking about decarbonization, of course, electrification will play an important role. So yeah, there are a lot of investments also on that, and biomass might play a bigger role in future. And yeah, we will see. I mean, gas will remain important.
What is the percentage of electrification that already being done in Austria for the paper industry?
You mean the electrification already done?
Yeah, already.
Yet there is a lot of electrification done, in the last years, combining with heat pumps. Heat pumps play an important role in the electrification process.
Is there some technical barrier that you are observing to phase out the gas to electrify the mills, or?
The Austrian paper industry is really energy intensive, and not everything can be decarbonized by electrification. So this is actually, so of course there is a technical barrier, but it's also a lot about the framework, and also about energy security in terms of not only availability, but also the costs. So also the costs play an important role, because the prices are getting higher and higher, and there is a problem related to the competitiveness. So if you compare it if you compare the Austrian situation to other countries in Europe, where you have kind of subsidies on energy prices, the Austrian industry has challenges when it comes to the competitiveness.
So there are more cost barriers or more technical? I mean, so technical is feasible.
It's both, actually, because of the energy intensity, and not everything can be just electrified. You need like biomass, you need gas, you need something like that. So it's kind of both, actually. Yeah.
I want to ask you, like, the role of AustroPapier. So it also to steer. There are 25 members, 25 paper producing companies. So AustroPapier, the usual role is that they steer the industry where it will be moving.
Exactly, yeah. And there are different decarbonization strategies. But of course I cannot talk about them now. But there's a clear roadmap on how to achieve also carbon neutrality. So there are a lot of efforts done here.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe there is a website to review the goals. I mean.
Yeah, of course there's. Yeah, exactly. And there is also you will find the roadmap. So yeah, it's So there's a lot about fuel switch, and then maybe I can add here some points. Carbon capture, for example, will also play a big role, and it's really important.
Okay.
So it's
observing in this industry.
Because as I told you, biomass is really important, plays a big role. And but there is the bio-CCC, the biocarbon capture. That means you can capture the biogenic CO2. No, not with plants. Okay. There's the infrastructure still we still need the infrastructure, and the paper industry has a huge potential on that. But of course we will have to see how the infrastructure and how there will be like the legal framework for that. So we have, but the Commission the Commission has issued and published that it's really welcoming, carbon capture measures and negative emissions. So bio-CCC would lead into negative emissions. So and the paper industry actually has a really big role on that.
Do you have a kind of goal? I mean, part of the roadmap to 2050. The carbon capture, it's a main role on that, or it's more electrification? Like, what is the?
It's both. It's the combination. Yeah, it's the combination. Yeah, because it's not. You need the whole system for decarbonizing, and it really depends on the different mills. It depends on the processes. So yeah, but of course it's both of them. And bio-CCC, the paper industry compared to other industries, really has a role that not other industries have, because the industry uses biomass and biogenic sources, and so this is then possible, technically possible.
The name bio carbon capture. What is
biogenic?
So what is
carbon
different
capture
with other technologies, or why do you choose this one?
So I mean, when talking about carbon capture, there are two technologies. It's the carbon capture and storage. Yeah, and then afterwards, also there are discussions and debates on how to build up carbon markets. This is in discussion actually. And then you have bio-CCC, which is related to biomass. So this is the exactly.
Fuel.
Yeah.
It's because of the feedstock.
It's about, yes,
it's
exactly.
a special technology for this.
Yes, exactly, yeah. And carbon capture is really relevant for the steel industry, for example.
I was just asking that with AustroPapier, are you also talking to other such consortium in other countries? Do you?
Yeah, of course. There is CEPI, the Confederation of the European Paper Industries, and we are a member, and we always have an exchange with the other paper industries, because we have similar challenges. It's really important to exchange and also to have a kind of advocacy strategy together.
Do you think, which of the countries you will say that already have gone ahead in the transition of paper and pulp industry, that they're already been able to electrify or functioning as a role model?
Yeah, well, I think Austria is also, Austria is on a good way. We have also Sweden, which is also, actually all of them, all current, but it's more the Scandinavian countries and Austria also as well, and Germany. They're also putting efforts on that. Yeah, but I can talk about the Austrian paper industry, not that much about the other European paper industries.
Because we are focused more on the Central and Eastern European, and we want to establish Austria, and I think Austria is pretty much the role model for the region.
Yeah.
And while I'm doing the thesis, my topic is also pretty much the same. So
okay.
Austria has been able to, and I'm comparing Austria with Romania and Poland.
Okay.
Because Austria is also fortunate with its energy mix, so it gets a lot of electricity, which is there to be.
Yeah.
So.
And this is part of the thesis.
Great. Yeah. I mean that the electricity mix and the share of renewables is really high in Austria. It's around, I think, 87-88%, which is really, really high. So, yeah.
Yeah, taking the CE region reality, do you think these coal boilers can be retrofitted to electrification in the paper industry?
In Austria, coal boilers do not really, or the role is really diminished. They're not really coal boilers. Maybe it's, I don't know, 1, 2 or something like that. But it's more gas boilers actually, and processes are really energy intensive. It's sometimes it depends on the processes, but sometimes it's not really that easy to move on to electrification. But in the case of the other sea countries, I mean, I believe it's about the mixture. It's about having like maybe biomass actually also is a good example also for other paper mills in the sea region. And electrification, of course, and then we will see what role renewable gases will play. So hydrogen, for example, but this is something we don't know yet. But by the way, biogas is also really important. In the case of the Austrian paper industry, because biomass is used, there is also sometimes surplus heat and electricity which can be fed into the grid. So this is also something really positive. So that means the Austrian paper industry is not only using energy, but it's also producing and feeding into the grid.
So it's possible to retrofit coal boilers to biomass and then to leapfrog to electrification, right? So could be a way.
Yeah, theoretically, but when it comes really to technical issues, I think we have to look on the exact processes and on the mills, and there are a lot of things to look on.
But super old.
Yeah, they can. Yes, exactly. And then I mean it's also about the framework. Not talking about the coal boilers, but about gas now, because this is what in Austria is the debate or the discussion how to replace gas, and not coal anymore. Gas will remain as something that will be that you will need. Yeah, there are a lot of questions on that, especially because also the European Commission has announced that it wants to phase out Russian gas, of course, by 2030, also including LNG, and so all these things have to be also included into the decarbonization strategies, of the industrial sector.
Sherin, you worked so much into the geopolitics of stuff, and energy is getting more and more geopolitical, and there are a lot of risks around this region. And you're currently dealing with the EU-MENA hydrogen corridor. What do you think, how it's coming along, and what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, exactly. Hydrogen is a really big topic, and there are a lot of debates also on that. But before answering your question, I think it's I believe it's really important to mention that we are now witnessing, this global shift towards fragmentation and also kind of deglobalization, and there are a lot of questions on energy security. So all that is related to energy security, of course. So we have a lot of challenges also in terms of the competition between the US and China, and we see that China plays really important role when it comes to critical minerals, but also when it comes to manufacturing, for example, electrolyzers and all that. So there's a, let's say, a challenging global order right now. Yeah, and green hydrogen would of course also reshuffle maybe the global order, because currently when you look at the different strategies on hydrogen, you see that almost every country has a green hydrogen strategy. This is also really interesting, and many countries want to be exporters. So this is also interesting. Yeah, it's the European Union, of course, according to the publications of the Commission. the strategy, imports will be really important, but it will also raise some, some questions and some risks as well. So green hydrogen, there are a lot of debates on importing green hydrogen from the MENA region. So, for example, Tunisia, Algeria, and also the Austrian government has signed a memorandum of understanding, between Tunisia with Tunisia and with Algeria. So there are kind of plans to import hydrogen, but I think it's really important, to look also on the risk side, because if you look on political developments in the MENA region, there are a lot of questions around and also tensions around land use, and there is a water scarcity, and there are a lot of risks. And the EU, for example, has already an import strategy, which is fine, but Austria hasn't an import strategy, so it's we will see how this strategy will look like. But I think the key is the diversification. So I believe it's about, having different hydrogen suppliers. Exactly.
To not replicate the situation now with Russia.
Yes, right? Exactly. And
that's a learning.
Yes, exactly. And I believe it's not only about that. I think it's also really important to look at the necessities within these countries, and also the stakeholders and the communities, and to also look at the use of renewables within these countries. So, for example, Tunisia or Algeria or Egypt, they don't have a high share of renewables right now. So I think this have to be taken into consideration when you're talking about exports.
How do you think that influence the Israel-Hamas war now in the imports from MENA region? What's risk can be, and if there are some plan Bs?
Actually, there are a lot of direct but also indirect effects. So indirect effects are the volatile markets. So of course we see that very quickly on the energy prices. So and then when talking about the direct effects, there were, you can of course remember the tensions between Iran. I mean, there are still tensions between Israel and Iran, and there were some fears actually that Iran could or that this could affect the Strait of Hormuz and then the LNG supplies. So of course, this is a risk. And then also, when we talk about hydrogen, I mean, there might also be a competition between different exporting countries. Like Algeria and Morocco, there are already some tensions, and then it remains. We will see how hydrogen will also have an influence on that.
So the hydrogen corridors are also from MENA region to Europe, and that's by the sea or on land?
Well, also by the sea, but pipelines. And Austria is supposed to play a major role on the South H2 corridor. So this is a corridor that should connect North African countries with Europe, and there is
Italy, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then coming to Austria, and Austria would in this case play a major role because it's linked, and there are a lot of discussions right now on the infrastructure and also on financing actually the infrastructure. So, but also it's not only the MENA region, also Ukraine. So there are also talks about how Ukraine could play a major role in exporting hydrogen. And now we have the war, of course, but afterwards, there are some projects as well. Or there's one project I have heard about. So,
I mean, you are making your thesis.
Yes.
Now,
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm writing my thesis on hydrogen import routes, and I'm doing a risk assessment.
Amazing.
So
we can make another interview just for.
Afterwards.
Going from one important part to another, what do you think about the other critical minerals like lithium and cobalt? Like how this region, not just Austria, but the whole region is reacting to it. You see what is happening in Serbia. There's a bit of problem around the Jadar project. And but it will mean that Europe will have to get lithium from somewhere else. So is there do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, the EU is aware of that, and there's the Critical Minerals Act aiming at targeting this issue. It's of course it's a challenge, and also when talking about lithium from Serbia or from Czechia, I believe it's important, to involve the communities as well, and it's important that they kind of benefit from this huge project, because it shouldn't be like the elites only benefit. It's like, and of course, like, it's important to involve them also in the plans, and I mean, there are also environmental issues as well, and it can be a positive step, but it's always I believe about the framework and how to connect with the communities. But right now we are really dependent actually on China on that, but on South Africa as well. But on China, really, I mentioned already the electrolyzers. Many of them come from China, but also when we talk about PV, for example, it's everything. So I believe it's diversification also in terms of critical minerals is essential, but it's not that easy to have, and because dependencies. Exactly. And you don't have them everywhere. So also with renewables, we will have kind of dependencies on several countries.
Have some of the critical minerals?
That's a good question. I think yes, but where exactly? I think lithium is but where exactly? I don't know. Yeah, but I have heard yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and regarding the risks, you mentioned the sources, right? But what about the geopolitically speaking, the supply chain? What are the risks?
Exactly. Yeah. Also when it comes to the supply chains, there are a lot of risks. So we have already talked about war, about conflicts in different regions. So this is definitely a risk. Also. When we talk about pipelines, I mean there are a lot of risks also on that. Yeah.
And regarding the US and European deal that it was made in the last weeks, I think, what are your thoughts about it related to energy imports, right? What are your thoughts about it?
Actually, it's really kind of problematic, because currently the US is an important exporter of LNG, of course. But this dimension, I think it was the agreement included, I think 750 billions have to be invested in gas and oil coming from the US, and this is really really challenging. And there are a lot of experts who said that this is actually not feasible, and that would mean that we have to import all of our energy from the US, which wouldn't make sense. And of course also looking at the US from the point of or in terms of trade challenges and customs and all that issues, it's really problematic. And the USA could also use it as a kind of tool, for achieving own interests and things like that. So it's I believe it's really a problematic deal. Yeah.
For Europe.
For Europe, yeah.
You would say that it was not a good deal for Europe.
No, I agree. It's not a good tool for Europe. Yeah, it's not.
That can also be summarized by the photos that they published after doing the deal.
The photo. Exactly.
What better question than policy in Austria and EU, right? Like there's so many policies, but what do you think about the EU carbon policies and how are they treating the energy-intensive industry from offshoring so that the industry does not go away? And so, I mean, the challenge is that basically that we are having with EU carbon policies.
And do you see it as a threat or not?
Well, that's a good question. I have already mentioned the competitiveness of European industries, and of course, carbon policy is something very much linked to that also. On the one hand, of course, it's important to have decarbonization goals, I believe, but it's important to involve the industry as well. And I think this is something the Commission is right now doing more and more. But there are a lot of challenges in terms of carbon leakage, and therefore, we have ETS 1, the emission trade system 1 with free allocations for some industries, and we have also now CBAM.
And Pulp is not under the free allowance, right?
No, they are. Yeah, they receive
until 2030.
This is the challenge. So we will come to the challenge because the challenges because the EU wants to phase out the free allocations by 2030. So there will be less and less free allocations, and this is a huge challenge for the industry because right now it's a good measure for against carbon leakage, but it's unclear what will happen after 2030, and this is a big risk. In terms of CBAM, there's a lot of criticism on CBAM because many industries think industrial sector think that it does not really avoid carbon leakage, and so there should be some adaptations. I mean there will also be some adaptations because the ETS system will be revised next year by the EU Commission. So there is the ETS revision, and CBAM also will be kind of revised. So there are a lot of debates on that. Yeah, but currently the industry really, or the Austrian paper industry really has really challenges.
What are the targets for the paper and pulp industry, in Austria?
To have the free allocations also after 2030, because there's still a need of decarbonization, and now with the free allocations there, it's easier, but without it's we will have a lot of competitiveness issues.
The free allowance is incremental, right? Like how it starts with 5% and then.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking about policy also, Austria is really promoting energy communities. So do you think that there is a space for high energy intensity industries to be part of energy communities?
I mean, theoretically, it could be. But it really depends on the framework. Now there is a new law on the electricity system. It's the Elektrizitätswirtschaftsgesetz on a national level, and it's now being revised by also stakeholders. And the law would make like direct lines possible and to peer-to-peer contracts, things like that. And this could make that possible, but it's really theoretical now. Yeah, so it really depends on the framework, on the legal framework, and on how it's going to be implemented.
Okay, so
yeah, but I mean, it's not something that like. It is something that theoretically is possible, but theoretically, so yeah.
But I mean, it's more possible for any other industry for sure, because the paper and pulp is going to use more and more heat pumps, industrial heat pumps, and heat pumps can be decentralized and can be part of energy communities.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I remember something from our last forum when you were there discussing about AI for industries.
Yeah.
And you had a very rather interesting discussion with another of our panelists, Bharat, about the apprehension of AI in industries and why. But what do you think about what is the role of AI and other advanced technologies for industries, especially also for paper and pulp industries?
Well, AI already plays an important and crucial role, and will play also. Yeah, it really can help on different aspects. So AI will, and there are a lot of companies really implementing AI tools, and this is the future actually. I would say in every industry sector. But of course, using AI will means also that we will be in need of more electricity and more energy. So this raises again the question. So this is a risk as well. But I believe that it's there are a lot of possibilities coming with AI. So yeah. So we have to invest more and more in renewables, but that means that we will also, be kind of dependent also.
Are there any particular technologies that you're seeing in the paper industry?
You mean AI technologies
implemented?
I think there is some, really related to paper manufacturing. What exactly, I'm not aware of it, but there are already some tools being used.
And you, as industry, see some risks in terms of data protection, for example, from the industry with AI?
Of course, yeah. Data protection is also an important issue, yeah. So it's about, combining them, how to use AI without losing data. So, yeah, and they're like... We will see. I mean, it depends on the tools, but still there are tools available as well that could be used. Yeah,
it's so new for now, but it's being observed.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, just with the final thoughts and how do you see the future? This question is like, to mention one policy that could make heavy industry net zero feasible, what would you do?
One policy. Well, I really can't mention just one policy, because it's about the whole framework. It's about, right now we have many strategies, but it's about the implementation, and it's about having the right infrastructure. And for example, coming back to hydrogen, so now we're talking about hydrogen, but there's still, the infrastructure is still missing, and there are a lot of questions also around how the production costs will be covered. And I mean, the hydrogen is really expensive still, and so there are a lot of challenges that should be solved by policymakers, and so it's really important, to have the overall framework. So I would say it's about the infrastructure and about the availability, and also about the prices also on the end of the day when it comes to electricity and energy.
Okay, so it could be summarized: the infrastructure and the coordination between multiples agendas and policies, right?
Yeah, you can summarize it like that.
And do you think that they are aligned? all the policies in this direction of being net zero to 2040?
No, I don't think that. Look at the European hydrogen strategy. This goal is not here yet because we still have some challenges. And there is a recent study I have read on actually arguing that the Commission has to revise its goals on that. It is about the availability of renewables, also other alternatives actually to gas, for example, and we don't have them yet.
Okay.
So these are the challenges.
And your closing thoughts, Sherin, because you have been a political scientist yourself, and then you entered the field of energy. What about the other one? What one piece of advice that you will give to other political scientists who want to get into the energy field?
I think it's really important to talk to maybe industry representatives, but also to policymakers to understand the whole, to understand or to grasp actually the bigger picture. And I think it's important to know what's going on, in terms of geopolitical shifts and things like that linked to energy security. And then, of course, the technical dimension is really important. So, and then to get, these insights into technical and economic issues related to energy. So it's a mixture, actually. And I really believe that it's about this bigger picture. It's not only, especially now, especially in these times, it's not only to have this technical background, which is of course really important as well. And when dealing with energy and climate policies, it's important to have this geopolitical picture as well.
Yeah, actually, how was it for you to study a technical master having a political science background?
Well, it was really technical. No, it was like, okay, it's interesting, but it's too technical. But I'm fully aware that you have to have these understandings of of the technical dimension, because if you don't know, then it's hard to work on energy and climate policies.
Super challenging.
So that's why we, with Energy Bridge, what we are trying to do is a lot of the time the policymakers, they don't understand the technicalities.
Yeah.
They need to be together on one place with the technical innovators, and so that the policies are in line with the technicality.
Yeah, I agree.
On that note, thank you very much, Sherin.
Yeah, maybe some
Thank you so
final
much.
thoughts, something that you would like to share?
Well, I think, again, it's about everything is about geopolitics. So no, there isn't something I'd like to share. But again, I think that we're really now witnessing a challenging time in terms of different aspects. Also, when you look at the EU-US deal, that's another topic. But also there are a lot of challenges and so on and so forth. And we have a lot of, we have the war now going on in Russia. So there, there's a lot there's a lot going on.
But, again, thank you for coming. I learned a lot. So
yeah, me too. Thank you very much, and I would love to read your thesis soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for the community for watching the interview until the end, and stay tuned for a next interview. See you. Bye.
Yeah.